usually on Father's Day. I think it may change coming soon, but I work along with Veterans Associations Real Estate Professionals, and we go to a policy conference. It's in DC. And
Uh-huh.
so, and so that's usually you're talking about having to clean things up. We won't say it cleaning things up, but I mean, this year it was like printers, printer cartridges, and things of that sort. People leave
Uh-huh.
things, so somebody that's local have to go ahead and take care of those things. But
Mm.
yeah, but anyway, I've been tasked with a lot of things. But that's a great event too. On in June, we
Mm-hmm.
go on Capitol Hill. We get a chance to talk to the those elected officials there about issues that concern veterans. And so this year they passed that act. That's one of the parts of that is they call the Ballot Act for our
Okay.
veterans. Yes, and so it's going to become law. Where yeah, I think I mentioned it to you about the veterans. If they ask you, have you served, then they have to
Mm-hmm.
give you that comparison. You have the FHA comparison, the conventional loan, then you have the FHA. I mean, the veteran comparison,
Okay.
the loan,
Okay.
because there's a very small percentage, maybe even a third of individuals that are eligible, maybe should be using that VA loan, but only I
Mm-hmm.
would say less than about a third of the people that actually using VA loan is because it wasn't given the opportunity. A lot of the real estate professionals, where the lenders or
Mm-hmm.
builders, are not educated on it, and they give out myths and information that's not always correct, and sort of like not introduce it to the veteran or convince them that hey, this loan over here
Mm-hmm.
is better for you. But there's so
Yeah.
many options to VA loan, and so
Right.
we want to educate our veterans on that. But yes, so that's a good time if you want to visit DC uh, in June. That's a good time to come for the policy conference.
You
It's a
said
nice time.
June. What date was that?
It's usually the third week of June,
Okay.
the policy conference. Yes, and then the next large event for VA rep. They have a leadership conference that's going to be in Jacksonville this year. That's going to be in October. For First Home Alliance, our major event, we have two events a year. That's pretty large.
Mm-hmm.
Every April, Theta, I didn't know there was a volunteer week, National Volunteer Week.
Uh-huh.
And so, but there's a National Volunteer Week, and that's usually the third week of April. And so we actually have community appreciation, which we started calling the volunteer appreciation, but a volunteer community appreciation that is in the third week of April. That's First Home Alliance's second largest event of the year. And
Okay.
and then our largest event of the year is our annual gala. And so that annual gala this year is going to be on November the 14th. And of course, we bring in our partners, so it's a possibility that our local chapter, VA Rep, may be doing something on that particular day or during that weekend as well, because it's also Veterans Week, if you want to call it. Uh,
Okay.
and then also on that Saturday, if it's a whole day event, as we're planning the First Home Alliance annual gala in the evening. Then during the lunch, we have the Veterans Appreciation Lunch, and that's actually hosted by the American Legion Post 114. And so
Oh,
we are working
wow.
alongside them as well. So
A
now
lot of good things going on.
a lot of good things. If you come down that weekend in November, it'll be
Yeah,
exciting.
November
And
14th.
yes, yes. And of course, if you're here for the 11th, you got Veterans Day. And so they have parades, you like motorcycles and all that great things, rolling
Yeah.
thunder. You'll be able to enjoy all that great things here on the National Capital Mall in the area
In DC.
yeah, in DC. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. So we're working towards that. And so want to all you guys out there in our audience, go ahead and check out our website. You can also we're also on Eventbrite. You just go to Eventbrite. You can type in First Home Alliance, and that event comes up. If you type in American Legion Post 114, their luncheon will come up. Of course, you can check on the social media and also on the First Home Alliance website and just upcoming events. Then go check out our gala. And of course, there's still opportunities for sponsorships. And so if you want to sponsor, you want to highlight your business, do some branding, it's a good time to do that. If you just want to make a donation, it's a good time to do that. And we have a silent auction. So if you have a large item that you would like for us to auction off or put on the silent auction, we're going to do a silent auction slash live auction with some items. Then you can make a donation of the things that can be placed on the auction, whether that's free weekend stay. It could be, I don't know, home inspections, home warranties, things like that that you give
Mm-hmm.
from homeowners. But also you may have a vacation rental or a getaway or something like that. You want to make a donation,
Mm-hmm.
and we have had people to donate their things like their tickets to a football game or something of that sort. So there's good items that if you would like to make a donation of those items and help us raise funds for First Home Alliance. Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, Theda, welcome back for Thriving Thursday.
Well, thanks for having me.
All right. Yes. Yes. And so how's things been going?
Things have been going pretty good, pretty good. I've been just, like you say, staying busy in the garden. I go there every morning and I work for about 4 hours in there, out among nature and trying to help get this new community garden started on the west side of San Antonio.
Uh-huh. And so
Yeah.
how much have you got very much participation with in the mornings out at the garden?
Yes, and they have a volunteer day. Our volunteer day is on Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
Fridays from I think it's from 9 to 12 on Fridays, every Friday. So those that are our volunteer days, and that's when they come out to that particular garden. We have another volunteer day on Saturday mornings from 9 to 11 at the main Gardopia, which is in downtown San Antonio on the east side of San Antonio. And now they're expanding to the west side with another garden, a community garden there. So yeah.
Okay. Yes. And so I know we're talking about the educating our youths and everything, but if you want to give out more information, maybe a website or something like that for individuals want to find out about that garden that want to go there and maybe
Oh
volunteer
yeah,
activities.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure. If Gardopia is located on North New Braunfels, Gardopia Gardens. You can see them on Facebook, Instagram. They have a lot of social media posts that's going on. They just did the Home and Garden Show. Um, which was at the Alamo Dome downtown. Very big event. Our chief learning officer did a cooking demonstration there, where she showed how to make healthy meals. Um, and they gave away auctioned away a new garden bed.
Really?
Full with the
Okay.
whole, they come in, they're gonna make the whole garden bed with the soil and the plants and the fruits. So
Okay.
the
Would there be a,
auction,
like a above ground maybe with
yes,
in a box?
yes,
Yes.
yes. It's above
Yes.
ground made out of pine. So
Okay.
it's really good wood that lasts a long time. And
Wow.
they auctioned away a couple of good things. So yeah, they're doing some great things. So if you're ever in San Antonio, want to check them out, Gardopia, check them out. Nice, really nice space to go. Really nice space to go and hang out.
Oh, that is great. Yeah, I probably should have talked to you a little bit earlier during the year. I probably need to get started in March or so because we have above ground there. But I let my mother-in-law have it because my mother-in-law was telling me how to do rolls and how many rolls and how much spacing and all this other stuff. I was like, hey, well, I got her fighting with my mother-in-law, and so I just took my hands off.
It's all yours. Yes,
It's all yours.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Go for it. Yeah, I just break the soil and leave it to you. You can make your own rolls. You can put it. And so this
Yeah.
year she didn't feel like doing it, and so it's basically got weeds in our garden. And so next year I see that maybe she's probably going to sit back and observe now. Maybe not sure. I don't know. As soon as I go out there and do a roll and put some, something down, she may come out, And so we
Yeah.
may give it another try, but I'm not going to fight against her.
I understand. I understand. Those weeds are
Yes.
something.
Yes, but I
But
miss
yeah.
the peppers, the cucumbers, the tomatoes, and
Mmm.
yeah, so I sort of missed that this year. Yes. Well,
Yeah.
yes. So, yeah, you want to give us our audience a recap on what we covered a little bit of what we highlighted
Sure, sure,
last
sure.
week.
Okay, so last week what we were talking about was Gardopia is a nonprofit organization that
Hmm.
their vision is to teach students about sustainability, teaching them how to live healthier by growing their own foods. Um, Not only growing their own foods, but also teaching them about composting, recycling, climate change, canopies, tree planting, and all of those things, getting back to nature. And so they have educators that they hire to go out to the schools and do these classes with the students. I think they're in like 53 schools here in Texas.
Hmm.
And so one of the things the educators or the garden educators, they were not too familiar with the behaviors or how to handle the behaviors that they were seeing in the classroom. So
Hmm.
the chief learning officer, Sherry Lim, asked me if I would put together a professional training to teach them about how to deal with behaviors when they do go into the schools. So the first thing we talked about last week was this term called neurodiversity.
Hmm.
And neurodiversity is the idea that um, the brain differences are natural human variations, not a disorder to be fixed. Um, so it means that it's just because all our brains are different.
Okay.
And the term was coined in the late 1990s by a sociologist named Judy Singer, and originally she was describing autism.
Hmm.
And since then, it has expanded to cover a whole range of ways brains can process the world differently. And one of the things we talked about is we talked about looking at neurodiversity, thinking of it like biodiversity. Um,
Okay.
if you have a garden, you don't have one type of plant, and then say everything else is wrong. You
Hmm.
know, you have a lot of different plants, and they all have different needs, different amounts of water, different amount of sun, shade, soil. But when all of those conditions, they all thrive when their conditions are met, even though those conditions are differently. So that's
Okay.
the same way neurodiversity look at students' behaviors.
Okay.
Um, that when the condition is met, then they can also thrive, and they may all have different things that they need. So we
Okay.
looked at that last week, and so we talked about the new neurodiversity, and there are like four different main categories of neurodiversity. You have your autism, you have your ADHD, you have learning disorders like dyslexia and language and sensory regulations. So those are the four different categories of neurodiversity. And based upon those categories, you can kind of anticipate what type of behaviors may happen.
Okay. Yes, and I remember what I really the thing that stood out for me in that show last week was that it's not always the plant. You think when you're saying the educators or so, the student is broken. It's like
Yes, yes. If you look
it's
at the plant, you don't, and the plant is wilting, you don't say bad plant, bad plant.
yeah.
No, you change the conditions. You give it more water or you give it some fertilizer so it can grow.
Okay.
You don't say bad plant. You're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah. Yes. You're
Yeah.
dying all
It's
on your own.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's yeah.
Okay, super. All right, well, that's a good lead in. What we're gonna blend into today?
Okay, so
Did we get
today
that?
we're going to talk about the trauma, garden-based learning with trauma-impacted students. So
Mm-hmm.
we talked about diversity with the brain, thinking differently, and processing information differently through neurodivergency, the way your brain is wired. But another thing that affects behavior is trauma. Students
Okay.
that are impacted by trauma. And trauma is the clinical definition for trauma is an experience that overwhelms a child's capacity to cope, leaving the nervous system stuck in survival mode.
Okay.
Okay. It overwhelms the child's capacity to cope. And so they're in a survival mode all the time. There are different types of trauma. You have acute trauma, which is accident or disaster, a sudden loss that will cause trauma. Chronic trauma, repeated exposure, ongoing abuse would be a chronic trauma type thing. Community violence, and then you have complex trauma. The complex trauma is sort of like a chronic trauma inside of a caregiving relationship. The people who you're supposed to trust
Mm-hmm.
or keep you safe, um, um, hurt the child, or the child was placed, they were in danger instead of being safe. So those are the three different types of trauma that affect their behavior.
Okay.
Um, you have abuse, household dysfunction, um, divorce, domestic violence. Uh, all of those things may cause a student to be traumatized,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. And so, do those? We would say maybe use an example as divorce. Would
Hmm.
do that affect all kids the same? Would they
Um,
have the same effect on
n-
every
n-
kid?
no, it doesn't. And that's a good point. That's one of the points we bring up in the training is that not every cause of a behavior or not every event is going to affect the child the same way.
Okay.
Okay. You have causes of the behavior and then you have the functions of the behavior. So if a person gets divorced and one child might be withdrawn, um, another child might seek attention.
Mm-hmm.
The father left, so now they may seek attention from males. Um, Others may, you know, try to escape or get away. So no, it doesn't. They do not. The behavior, the trauma does affect each person differently, but there are four causes
Okay.
or four functions of trauma. And those are, if something happens, is there's going to be either escape or avoidance, attention, access, or sensory regulations. Those are the four functions of what happens when a trauma happens.
Okay.
Either they're gonna look to escape or avoid something, they're gonna look for attention, they're gonna look for access to get something tangible, or sensory regulation, managing their own nervous system. So those are the four functions. And when you're dealing with kids, what you want to do is you want to look at the function, not the
Okay.
behavior itself, because the behavior is the communication. Behavior is communication. You don't want to look at the child and say, that child is bad. You want to look at it and say, what is this behavior communicating to me?
Okay.
What is it communicating? Are they trying to escape? Um, are they trying to get attention? What is it that what is this behavior communicating to me?
Okay. And so with that, say if it was they was trying to escape because of safety, how would with some maybe some techniques to help me identify that it is a safety concern?
If it's a safety concern and they're trying to leave, um, let me see, safety and they're trying to leave, the response would be to give them predictability. You would tell them, like, say, for instance, okay, um, we're getting ready to go to the garden in 10 minutes. Or, we're getting ready to transition from the garden back to the classroom. And you take away the not knowing, the thing that may be causing them to feel not safe. Not knowing equals not safe. But if they know what they're going to do, or where if they know ahead of time, their nervous system, if their brain knows ahead of time, then they can prepare. Okay, this is what I'm getting ready to do. Okay. But if it's a surprise, then, you know, they may shut down.
Okay, that's a good tip.
Yeah, they may shut down. Um, but some of the common behaviors with trauma impacted students we want to look at is aggression.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see aggression, what you might see is hitting, throwing, pushing, verbal explosion, and the causes visual, longer escalation, frustration that outpaces the child's coping skills. For example, I had a student. He was a 5-year-old student. He was a trauma impacted student. He lived in the place called, it's called St. PJ's here. They were homeless, and this child had received a lot of trauma in his life. Well, he got frustrated and he didn't have the coping skills. And I was talking to him and he started biting me. Aggression. He was biting me. So why was he biting me? What was he trying to communicate
Mm-hmm.
through that biting? Um, Here it says what? Frustration that outpaced the child's coping skills. He just couldn't cope with it. So he was frustrated. So he um a visible end to a long escalation. It was a long escalation for him, and he was tired. Sensory overload.
Yes.
He just couldn't, his senses, his emotionals just couldn't take it no more. Um, Learned pattern. It could have been a learned pattern that well, if I bite, they're gonna leave me alone. you
Yes.
know.
Yes. Maybe it worked before.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Trauma impact kids
Mm-hmm.
perceive loss of control. He
Yes.
might have felt a loss of control. So how you get that back? By biting. Um, so the response is to stay calm, right? And I did.
Okay.
I
Okay.
did stay calm. You want to de-escalate the child. You don't want to. You don't want to get them. You don't want to. Escalate them anymore.
Yeah,
So
that's
he would.
good.
When,
You're in that
huh?
position there. I said it's good of you to be in that position to remain calm.
Yes, because when he bit me, he looked and he waited for a
Oh,
response, right?
yes.
And I just looked at him calmly. I didn't get upset. The other teacher, she was getting upset. She was like, "Don't do that. You shouldn't be biting." And as she escalated, he started to bite harder. He didn't break my skin, But he started, as long as when she started reacting to it, he started, and I said, you're gonna have to leave.
Oh
You
yeah.
gotta go. You have to go. You gotta go. You need to just back away. And then so once she backed away, and I talked calmly to him, I said, it's gonna be okay. You're safe. You're okay. You're okay. Make him feel safe again, because evidently he felt threatened.
Okay.
And I said, you're safe, you're okay. You're safe, you're okay. And he let go. He let go. So you want to de-escalate them. You want them to, if you're not regulated, if you're not calm, if you're then the child's gonna match that. But if you
Right.
bring it down, if you bring your tone down, if you talk softly, then it helps them regulate. It helps them to think clearer. It helps them to become calmer, right?
Okay.
And then once they are calm, from there you can then try to say, that was a really tough situation. That was tough right there, what you were going through. There was a really tough situation you were in. And let help them to regulate and come back down. And once they regulate and they come back to themselves, and their nervous system and brain is able to think clearly about what happened, then that's when you can discuss with them what they actually did and what are some options to do next time.
Okay.
But if in the moment you can't do that, you can't say, "What are you doing?" You have to stay calm, and you have to help them get back to a space where they can think calmly. Because that same kid, he was only 5. He was just a baby. I
Yeah.
felt really bad that his life was so screwed up. He
R-
had
r-
such a hard hand dealt to him, right?
Right.
And so the next day, he was really one of my favorites. The next day, when he came back and he was all calm and he was himself again, and I said, you bit me yesterday. And he did not know how to process that, because he knew that I was a person that he liked,
Mm-hmm.
and he did not want to hurt me. And
Right.
when I told him that he hurt me when he bit me yesterday, he was like, he just couldn't process it. He could not really, he didn't want to deal with what had
Mm-hmm.
actually happened. He didn't, he couldn't process it. It was like, it was returning to a very painful state. But he needs a lot of help,
Yeah.
lots and lots of help.
Yes.
But
But
yeah.
yes. So I mean, I think you did very good in that situation to and not react in a way that because this, like you said, is an effect or something that was an underneath cause, and it's and it wasn't there to inflict pain. It's basically acting
No,
out. Yeah.
no, no.
So
It was a
yeah.
way of it was a way of him communicating
Mm-hmm.
that he was probably frustrated. He couldn't cope with the situation. He probably wanted to escape, but he couldn't escape because we had him in a room locked
Yeah.
because we knew he
Four
was gonna
walls.
run. We knew he was gonna run.
If he could have ran, maybe he would have took that option.
Yes, he would have ran, because he didn't feel safe.
Yes.
And so,
Yeah, he couldn't flee. so,
no,
so you have to
no,
fight if you can't flee. Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yes. And those, it's funny that you bring that up, because that's one of the things when they get stressed like that. You have the
Hmm.
fight,
Right.
the flight,
Correct.
and what's the other one? Freeze, where they just freeze and they won't move. You say, "Come
Right.
on, let's go," and they come on, and they won't.
He's stuck in
They're
time.
not going nowhere.
Yeah.
Let's
Yes.
go. They won't move. And then you
Yeah.
have the fawn. That's where they want to please.
Mm-hmm.
They'll do anything to please you.
Yes.
So those are the responses that they have when they're under a lot of stress.
Yes. And I really enjoyed the that you're able to put this into what I call it a package to train because the more educators that are aware of these different scenarios and how to deploy these the students that go definitely get the largest benefit of this. And so I really enjoy you being able to break that down. I'm beginning to reflect on some things. I have a grandkid, so I'm sort of like
Uh-huh.
beginning to observe more. but,
Uh-huh.
but, yeah, but he's. I don't think he has anything to be afraid of right now.
No.
he's, he just want to have fun all the time. That's what the mode he's in. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But yes, but it's that's good is to soften the environment for them. And so this training, I think, definitely would do that to make it a
Oh
more
yeah.
conducive environment. Super. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
So the other training that we're looking at giving also is the building of relationships. So we're gonna one of the training is how to deal with students that have been impacted by trauma, and then the third session that we're going to do is building those relationships with
yes,
students,
yep,
because if you don't build a relationship with the student, then the student don't trust you. They're not going to trust you, and if
yes,
they don't trust you, you have a hard road to go.
yes,
So we talk about, how do you build relational capacity? How do you build trusting relationships with students? And the garden is a great place to do it. You do it with consistency, showing up every day. You do it with greeting them as they come in. Any teacher, I would tell any new teacher that starts, the first thing you need to do is before they come, stand at your door before they come in, and you greet and shake each student's hand and call, "Hello, how you doing? Good morning. How you doing today? Good morning. Good morning." You shake and you speak to each one of them. And
yes,
then as you're talking and shaking, you can get a read on who may have had some issues at home, who is in, pretty good mood, and other students who may, need some time.
mm-hmm,
They may have not had enough sleep. They may have had some type of confusion at their home. You can tell just by standing at the door, greeting each one of them. That's the first thing. And make it a part of your regular routine. And that's building those relationships. And then, some of them, it's sad, but they don't have food at home. They don't eat breakfast.
mm-hmm,
Right? I had students come in that the only food that they get is when they eat at school. And so my first period class, they come in and come on in, they'll go to cafeteria and get their little breakfast, and they'll come on in, sit down and eat your breakfast. I'm not trying to teach them anything. If they haven't had anything to eat first, you have to take care of that need. The need first. Not, oh, we're going to be on objective 2.5 today.
right.
I'm just trying to get something to eat right now.
Yeah. The
you know?
stomach is talking to them. They can't hear what you're saying.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So, Yeah, so building those relationships with them when they're first coming in, you can pretty much tell, um, if they need something right then. And if you show that you just from that one thing, greeting students at the door, we're talking about building relationships. And you can tell if that student's been through something and you're compassionate enough to say, you know what, I understand you had a rough night last night. Go head on over and have a seat and take some time for yourself. Or, go over there and, whatever. That goes a long way with the student because now the student knows that you really care about them
Yes.
because you took the time to ask, how you doing? And if they want to talk, you there to talk. They can tell you, you know, I didn't do too good or whatever they have to say. You
Right.
know, you can give them a quick response and move on. So
Right.
just that one thing. You don't have to have 12 strategies ready to go. You can just do one. You can just do one, have one strategy. Um, that will help build those relationships with the students. Um,
Yes. Yeah, I think that's really unique from, of course, we can talk about how, we came up, but no, to having a teacher
mhm.
to meet the students at the door and greet them, that is definitely something new. I've seen that, of course, on video clips and things of that sort, but I definitely didn't experience that when I was in school. But I think it make a difference, definitely make a difference because they don't really care about how much you know until they find out how much you care. So I think
That
showing that
that is a
is
true thing.
yes, and so
That is a true statement. I can't say enough about relationships
hmm
um, with students, and not only do we teach educators how to have relationship with the students, but we also teach students how to have relationships with each other, peer-to-peer
yeah,
relationships. Because I tell them, I say, um, you guys, okay, I've built relationships with my students. The last school I was at, I was there for 3 years.
okay,
So within 3 years, I had them from 3 years. I built a relationship with them. But I told them, I said, you guys have to learn how to build relational capacity. I said, next year, I'm not going to be here. You're going to have a new teacher. You have to build a relationship with that person. So people are going to come in and out of your life. You're going to
yes,
have friends in elementary school that you're not going to have in middle school, that you're not going to have in high school. So you have to learn how to build relationships. You have to learn how to get along with people that you don't necessarily know.
correct,
So in school, kids usually hang around with their friends. They just stay together in their little friend group, and that's who they hang with, and that's it. But you also teach them sometimes you have to learn how to make new friends.
correct.
So in my class, and I had the fun class, the PE class, I would I would let them, be on the team with their friends at times, but then at other times I say, okay, now you can't be on the team with your friends. You have to, interact with people you're not used to interacting with.
hmm
You can't be on the team with them. You have to go and be on someone else's team. And so that's also a part is teaching the students how to have relationships with their peers.
Okay.
Um, um, and that's building that relational capacity. One of the big things that I would always see in my class is that you would have the student that was always very good in sports, right? Is really good in sports, but then there was a student that wasn't so good. Let's say basketball. You had one student that was really good in basketball, and then you had another one couldn't catch the ball, couldn't dribble the ball. And if you put that person on that on a team,
On this team, like,
they're like, oh no, oh no. So, so
we're not gonna win anything. This,
So one of the things that I do in my class is that the student that is really, really good in whatever sport it is, we teach them how to be leaders. I said, look, I said a sign of a good leader is because when you're just in elementary school, when you get to middle school, high school, college, you can't choose who you play with.
Right.
You cannot choose who you play with. And if you have someone that can't play as well as you, your job is to teach them.
Correct.
Your job, if they can't dribble the ball, you have to teach them how to do it. If they can't catch it or shoot it, your job, because you're so good at this, is to help your teammate out. That's going to go a lot further with your coaches, and it's going to take you a lot further as you get older.
Correct.
So if someone's on your team, I don't want to see you saying, "Oh, I don't want that person on my team." You know?
It's a great opportunity for you to sharpen your skills.
That's right. That's
That's
right.
right.
And that's building that relational capacity.
Hmm.
It's,
Yes.
it's, it's how they build their relational capacity. And it's just fun for me to see that in action and to actually see them take that to heart and really try. And that really transforms the environment and the climate of the classroom. Because now the student that couldn't play or is not athletic doesn't feel like, I don't want to, nobody likes me, nobody wants me on their team. They feel a part of the team. And
Right.
that creates a whole new environment where everybody enjoys the class, not just the ones that are really, really good in it.
Yes.
Everyone gets to enjoy it.
And so I guess you had the experience of what, someone that was talented and was able to, teach one of their peers, and what effects did that have on that, on the trainer, on that leader, when he see that one of his pupil or peers has, developed a skill that they help them train on.
Oh, they're so proud. They take that leadership role. It's like he's the man, she's the woman. You know, they like, they're like, I'm it. They're just so proud to take that leadership role and help the other person out.
Hmm.
It's just amazing to see. That's one of the things I love most about the job. And a lot of times the district that I worked in is an economically disadvantaged district. So most of our kids came in with a lot of trauma, impact students, a lot of neurodiverse students. That's my whole class. And so for them to learn these skills and to be able to learn the social skills, I thought, I said, you know what? My job is more counseling than it is teaching. Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
Yes. Yeah, but when you are able to take care of those underlying needs, by removing those barriers, how have that affected the learning?
Oh, wow. So it not only do they do well in school, but it's one of the things that make them successful in life.
Hmm.
You know, it really makes them successful in life because they're able to build relationships and know how to build relationships. Um, Another thing we talk about with building those relationships among themselves, among the peers, is we call it self management. I call it self management. So when they have a disagreement, they have to solve the problem. They can't come to me. They have to solve it on their by themselves on their own.
Hmm.
They have to try. Now, if it's something that they can't solve, then they can come to me, but they have to solve it on their own. And lots of times, we'll leave it to chance. If they're fussing over, if they're playing basketball and the ball went out and it's my ball, no, it went out on you. How are you going to solve it? Play
Mhm.
rock, paper, scissors. That way, no, it's not an authority saying no one has the authority. And so when no one has the authority, that levels the playing field and that cuts out all the anxiety and everything, when it's left like that. So they'll do rock paper scissors, or whatever chance game they want to play to help them decide. And then once they get to the point, as we develop these expectations for them having this self-management, some of them will even go to compromise. Okay, all right, I'm gonna let you have it this time, but next time it's gonna be my turn. So they start
Right.
to compromise, and to
Right.
see that level of social skills and relational capacity building is what we really want our students to be able to do. Because, like I said, it's gonna help them. It's gonna pay off for them the long term in life. Because research says it's not the students that make straight A's academically that are successful, but it's the students that have those social skills,
Right.
teamwork, and can build those relationships are the ones that are more successful in life.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Definitely being able to adapt. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. Okay. And yeah, I was just clicking on that.
Yeah, I should
To those.
see. I think we this now these slides here are some of them. I can't really see. Let me make this a little bigger here so I can see. There we go. Okay, so these are some of the trauma-informed behaviors, some of the root causes, and some of the responses if they see these behaviors in the
Okay.
classroom. If they have trouble transitioning from one thing to another, the root cause of it, fear of the unknown, and how to respond to it. Co-create transitions, help me carry the twos to the next bed. If they have trouble transitioning, attention seeking, unmet need for connection, building structural movements of individual attention so that they don't have to seek it disruptively. So a lot of times, they need that attention. So they'll do things to get the attention.
Okay.
So you want to give them that attention before they act out. You may, say, I noticed that, you did so and so, or, just give them some attention. I really I like the way your hair looks today. Boy, those some nice sneakers you got on. Where'd you get that shirt from? You know,
Yes.
give them a little attention, and for those attention seeking people, and they won't seek it the wrong way.
Yes. Yeah. And Theta, with these, and I'm going to call this, I guess, train a trainer. It could be a series, or it could be a orientation, and so what have you thought about? I know when you're not at that stage now, but delivering this to a group of teachers, or to setting, maybe at a conference, you know. What would be ideal? Would it be ideal to start with maybe just an awareness session, or would it be ideal to actually set it out as a workshop?
um, the way it's built, it would be a training.
Hmm.
Uh, it would be a professional training that could be offered. I would say first of all, I would say for beginning teachers, new teachers who've never been in the classroom before, it would be a good training for them to take. And also for teachers, that are in, newly teachers that have been in, teaching for maybe 1 to 3 years that have experienced some of these behaviors and kind of trying to figure it out. Well, how do I deal with this? How, what
Hmm.
I do? What's causing this? What's going on? Um, and a good refresher training for educators or people who deal with students, you know, on a regular basis, just a refresher, because sometimes you may forget, or you might be pick up some new tools that you can put in your tool belt when dealing with some of these behaviors.
Yes.
So
And what would be an ideal um, age group for the teacher, the educator? Would it be the preschool? Would it be elementary, middle, or high, or what would be ideal for
it
this
would
to be
be
introduced?
these behaviors occur on all levels: elementary, middle, high school, even adults. So some of these things can carry over, and they can actually work on anyone that have problems with regulating uh, their nervous system. I was thinking about myself as I was, studying this and reading over it, and becoming familiar with it. And it talked about, how your brain thinks differently.
Hmm.
Um, so, I was brought up in the South, Louisiana, and, um, when I came up in Cecilia, it was segregated. They still had places where there was whites only,
Right.
um, and we could not go in. And so the South was not a very nice place to grow up. They call it the dirty South, the
The
dirty
dirty
South,
South.
the
Yes.
dirty South. And so, and because of that, I have a problem with authority. I have a problem with authority. Yeah,
Yes.
because I
Wonderful.
don't trust them. I don't trust them. you know, if they tell me to
Yes.
do something, I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why? You know? Uh,
Yes.
and it's basically because of the culture that I was brought up in.
Yes. Some bad
And
experiences.
yeah, the culture. And then, living in Louisiana in Baton Rouge, Cecilia was one thing, but in Baton Rouge, we had our own community. We had our own schools.
Yes.
We had our own colleges,
Hmm.
and where we could do basically, what we wanted to do. We didn't really have to um, answer to anyone because we were segregated, you
Yes.
know, and
Yes.
we could thrive, we could grow, and we can thrive, and we could do and be whatever we wanted to be. And then when I moved from Baton Rouge, from that environment into a segregated environment, and it was so segregated. Uh, Most of the religion in Cecilia was Catholic,
Hmm.
so they had a white Catholic church, and then not even a mile down the street, they had the black Catholic church.
Okay. Yes.
That's how segregated it was, and so they really treated black people like second class
Right.
citizens.
Yes.
So it was so I realized when I was doing this training that, oh, okay, I can kind of do some self-reflection. you know I have a problem with authoritative
Yeah.
figures. If
Yeah.
you get a lot more out of me if you ask me to do something versus telling me,
Right.
because
That's it.
oh man, it's just,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. 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 Yeah. Well, I'm originally from Arkansas. You would think we are a little slow, going through the integration there. But I think it was schools was integrated 1970, in the third grade. And then in 1978, I went to Baton Rouge,
Uh-huh.
and I went to a segregated school, Scotlandville. Like for 8 years, it was integrated, and I went back, and then it was segregated again. And why? It was
Uh-huh.
really, it was challenge. And I
Mm-hmm.
went to that school because they had the best music program,
Mm-hmm.
and so
Oh yeah.
that's what that was. They told me, they say, "Hey, you want music? Okay, you're gonna go to the school." And it happened to be an
That's
all black
Scholarville.
school for my 11th grade year. But yes, and so there was there was challenges. There were challenges there, and so some of those experiences, that do stick with you. They do stick with you. Yes, but I really like this material here because it really breaks those barriers, if you want to call the racial barrier, and also, so it doesn't matter what color you are, what race, and also, and if you want to say, it doesn't matter what religion either, or
No,
any,
it doesn't. It
it
doesn't.
doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't. It does not matter. It
Right?
does not matter at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Does not
Well,
matter at all.
yes, and so I really enjoy the material that you put together, and I want to, follow that journey of you packaging this and see where it goes. You just retired, so it's not that you're ready to go right back into the classroom. It seemed like you prefer spending more time in the garden than you do in the classrooms
I
these days.
do. I do. I'm enjoying it. I haven't got bored yet, so I'm
Yes,
enjoying it. I'm enjoying
yes.
the break. Yes.
Yes, well, I can't wait to visit San Antonio because I have a son and a granddaughter there, and
Yeah,
so
Larry's here. Yeah,
yes,
I
yes,
need to get his number and we need to hook up.
yes, yes. So I want to get him over there to visit you there, and also hopefully, I get a chance to come and visit soon as well. Yes.
Yeah.
And so, for our audience, this is Theta, and I introduced her last time a lot, but this is my cousin. And so we grew up in our childhood. We spent some time in our childhood together. And she was in Louisiana, from Arkansas. We both served in the military. She was in the Army. We also had a chance to meet each other while we were still serving in
Mm-hmm.
1989, I think, in Germany. For some of you history buff, that's when the Berlin Wall came down in, I
That's
think,
right.
October 1989. So we were both there for that.
Mm-hmm.
And did you bring back a piece of the wall?
No, I didn't get a chance to bring back a piece of the wall, but I remember when it came down and those
Yeah,
little cars, they looked like they could only go about 45 miles
yeah,
per
right.
hour and they were on the Autobahn.
They're like a
And
two-cylinder, right?
yes,
Get out of the way. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, they may have had more than two cylinders, but that's how slow they went.
that's just how slow they were. They looked like, and it looked like they were living like, wow, in the 1930s
Yes.
compared to the other side of
The
Germany.
other
They
side, the
had,
yellow Mercedes taxis over there,
yes, they
west
had
side,
Mercedes
Yeah,
taxis.
you at the
That was
airport,
a
they go to
taxi.
airports to get in a taxi, and it's a line of yellow cars, but they all
Mercedes.
Mercedes Benz. Like,
Yeah.
gosh, I can't believe this. Yes, that was a time. That was an experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so we survived Germany, and so good to be back together again. And I really enjoyed you in the education sector, and so look forward to sharing more time with you.
Sure,
With,
I'm gonna definitely
yes.
try to make it to the gala if I
Okay.
can. November the 14th.
November the 14th.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to see if I can't make that happen. We'll see if I
Okay.
can get your sister to come with me.
Okay. All right. We'll go ahead and put that on a calendar. Hopefully, she can start
Yeah,
heading this direction. Okay. Any
yeah.
parting words? Got about 30 seconds here. We're going to drop off the line here. Anything you want to let our audience know?
Well, I just want to say thank you a whole bunch for inviting me on. And giving me an opportunity to share this information and get it out there and practice on the presentation. This is something new to me, um, doing these talk shows, but I really enjoyed it, and And I want to thank you for that. And I really respect all the things that you're doing out there. I mean to tell
It's
you.
well, it's all
Yeah.
fun. It's in a chapter. We're gonna continue to continue the journey, and so
Yes, sir.
it's I'm not tired yet, so I enjoy what I do, and also enjoy what you're doing. So I want to lighten the path and give you a platform to share the knowledge and skills that you have.
All
All right, Theda.
righty.
Well, thank you for joining us, and of course, we're going to want you back soon, so you can continue to share your journey with our audience.
Yes,
And
sir.
our audience continue to follow on social media here. And once she have a platform, a media platform, I will share that with you. And we're also going to bring her back so she can tell you where her new ventures that she's moving on. You all have a great evening, and we're going to see you next time.
Bye bye.
All right. Bye bye.